And we are live. Good evening, good evening, good evening. At least in the Netherlands it's good evening. And wherever you are watching from, this is the latest, or should I say the final stream I'm gonna do for at least this ferry flight. Let me show you. Oh god. Here we are. Because we did the whole lot of flying, and I don't think everything is here, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah, it's just over here. Well, we basically started all the way over here, went all the way down, first to the west, then down to Japan, then from Japan to Taiwan, Taiwan to the Philippines, Indonesia, West Papua, and then Australia. And now we are here. Why are we doing this? We're doing this for the A2A Simulations accusim challenge, and we are doing this for Andras Meridian Virtual Airline, for which I'm a pilot. And well, this aircraft for some reason got stuck in Canada, while its berth is our Australian hub at the Gold Coast. So, and this is what we're gonna do. This basically, this first part of the challenge, the accusim challenge from A2A Simulations, is fly this aircraft for a year and see what happens with how the aircraft performs or non-performs. See what happens with it, basically. Why is this? Why am I having two little nav maps? What's this all about? Okay. Weird. And now I have to put this all back. Oh. Anyway, we're at Bundaberg, where we landed this afternoon. We're going east towards the river, which is my starting point for navigation. Then we go southeast towards, well, this little cape here on this big island thing. Then we follow this great sandy strait down to this little peninsula thing here, where there's even an airport called Rainbow Beach Airport. So I'm guessing this is Rainbow Beach. It's very distinguishable. It's like a yeah, like a crooked hand or something. This is airspace. We're not going to go there. Then we go south, basically following the coast. Maybe go a little bit here before we go to the coast, but even in any case, from that cape go south, and we go all the way to, what is it? Sunshine Coast. 4DB Sunshine Coast. I'm gonna set that, even though I don't need it, because it's all coast following. So except the weather turns extremely bad, then we should just use that. Then go along the coast anymore. We have this cape again, and from this cape we will go to another cape here. Didn't waypoint that. The little town of Redcliffe, it seems. Or is it a bigger part of Brisbane? I don't know, but we are overflying Brisbane, staying clear of the airport itself. There's also some airspace here, so I'm gonna try to focus on this mountain here, Spring Mountain. And from Spring Mountain we go back east again towards the coast. We have some islands here. Somewhere here I'm taking, and it could be here, it could be here, I don't really care, because we're gonna get coasting again, and that coast is now Gold Coast. And this is where we're gonna land. So, lots of talk about. Basically all VFR, and we're gonna see how we're going, see how we're looking. And this is the final flight then, for this ferry flight. After that I will maintain the aircraft a bit, do some stuff with it, change out some spark plugs, change the oil, stuff like that, and probably clean it to see the difference with bugs and filth versus a squeaky clean aircraft. And then I'm gonna just tour Australia. But that's, you know, accusim challenge is for a year. So I checked the aircraft already, everything's done, everything's good. Of course I forgot something, and that is my, I'm gonna do the real quick, Brisbane Gold Coast. I have to register this flight, of course, for the VA. That's always a thing. Right. That's done, registered. Now I'm gonna start my client. And then we can go and start flying. Right, here we go. Battery on, fuel on, nav lights on, beacon on, pump on, crack the throttle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Close the mix. Start her up. As soon as she kicks over, full mixture. Get her back to 1000 RPM. Put in the alternator so we can support the battery on the other engine. And we do the same thing. Crank her open. Pump off. Pump on. 1, 2, 4, 5. Close it. Light it. Mix it. Done. Back to 1000. And I see oil pressures, of course, already. If they were 0, then I would have shut it down. All is good. Right. Electrics. Autopilot master. Cabin fan. Always nice because the temperature outside is recenter that 24 degrees. It's doable now. Anyway, I will start the fan. Ventilation air is full open. Right. Let's sync this thing. Fuel update. Thank you very much. So this is mostly VFR flying, hand flying probably. And let's see, we are at 143, so let's help this unit a bit. It's already slaving, but 143. Here we go. There you are. Our first heading is roughly east, so let's put it roughly east. And let's taxi out. Taxi light on. Park and brake off. I'm not using pitot heat as it's 24 degrees. And we're not going high up where it's freezing. I have no idea where the taxi lines are, so I'll just be careful not to hit anyone or anything. Where should I go? I'm guessing over there. See taxi lines here. A couple of 208s. Oh, there's no taxi line, there's a parking line. Okay. Where is my taxiway then? Oh, I'm all good, I'm all fine, but this is the worst taxiing ever. Taxiway, that's the runway. So let's wait over here, some 80. Oh nice, dash 8s. Oh, I love dash 8s. I miss dash 8s. My sim, the majestic one, the Cube 400. Parking brake set. Alright. Quick check. For the props. 1, 2, 3. That's done. Mag check. Right. Both. Left. Both. Drop scene in both. No engine shutdowns. Back to idle. No shutdowns. Back to 1000. This is good. Aileron check. Yes. Yes. Elevator check. Yes. Yes. And the rudder are free in movement. Can't see them, of course, but we'll trust in the freedom of movement as it's stick and not wired. Right. Anything here I need to do? I can put on the strobe. I can put on the landing light. I can put on my transponder. Set it to altitude. And put on my pumps. Now, just for reckoning, we need a VOR. That's 114.2. The other one is 112.3. 4.2. 112.3. Just set those already. And we are good to go. Flaps 10. Park and brake off. Runway clear. Runway clear. Full throttle. Power check okay. Oh, slight stutter. And we're off. Positive rate, tap brakes, gear up. 200 feet flaps up. Climb settings. Go 24 over 2400. Taking a right left turn out of pattern, keeping the speed just above the blue mark. Should any engine fail one of them, then the blue mark is the safe speed for one engine climbing. And we're high enough already. Level it off. Head towards the coast where the river is pouring out into sea. That's our navigational starting point. We can level off. So 21 RPM, 21 on the manifold pressure, I mean 2200 RPM. Get the mixtures back to roughly 11.5 to 12. Our trip has taught me that this is basically the good spot, the sweet spot. So no need to use the lean finder. Trimmer out. Oh, I need my headphones. It's a bit better on the sound. Very well. Very well. I could put some noise cancelling in also, but okay. Now it's really smooth sound. I haven't even used this for 50 hours. Anyway, here we go. Now, if we come on our standing point and a starting point, then I will turn on the timer, and we're gonna run down the coast. Don't need to go that high though. Want to stay anywhere between 1500 and 2000 feet. That should be great. Not expecting any hills or mountains, and the weather's looking nice. Always a plus. So, any viewers, I see some viewers, welcome to my stream in and my final flight on this ferry tour from all the way from Canada, Whitehorse, Canada, cold regions, to Gold Coast, Alaska. It's almost 9,000 miles and it's almost 50 hours in the Aerostar, and it's a lot of fun. Starting the timer and turning towards the entrance of that strait. Let's call it a strait. I think it's called a strait. That's roughly over there. No, it's mostly coast following, so it's not a big deal. There's no visual impairments to do there. So, viewers, any questions about A2A simulations, Aerostar or the Comanche? I also know that one very well. Flying in general, I'm a private pilot license holder in the Netherlands, so European license holder. Ask me anything, I will answer, and if I can't answer because I don't have the answer straight away, I will answer back via the chat. So that's all good. Right, I'm following the coast instead of straight out, but I don't see that straight yet. This will probably go around here, so I'm just following the coast. No real biggie. Instead of heading out to sea to catch a straight again. Can't really see it. A bit because of into the sun. There's just slight haze hanging over the land and the water. But after 50 hours, because I bought this aircraft before this challenge, I did not know it yet. I have a lot of opinion on this aircraft. The good ones are it's fast, it's stable, it's a joy to hand fly as well as use autopilot. It has some quirky systems like this NAV1, NAV2 thing. After careful review, my suggestion is just don't use this, because it will not stay on NAV2 for some reason, and I don't understand why. My feeble brain can't handle that. I like the old instrumentarium. I don't like the newer one that you can place here. I like to fly this aircraft without GPS, because I think it's perfect for it. You know, GPS for me is very nice on higher altitudes, but flying with basically VFR rules or 4-4 or using NDB gives me so much more satisfaction in flying. And I really like this setup without a GPS panel here. I really like this old style setup with the CRT like orange digits, and also matching with these. I just really dig it. Cons, I don't understand and it doesn't really matter as much, but I don't understand the whole ventilation system. I have a knob here to turn on a cabin fan or a cabin heat, but I've also got a heater here or a fan here, which is now set to high. Then I've got a ventilation air thing that I can pull with also a heater and a windshield defroster. I also got a defroster blower, so I'm guessing these are matching, and I'm guessing this switch is matching with this and this and this, the heater with this, but I don't know for sure, and I can't really find it in the manual stating, well, you need to turn this one on in order for this one to work so that this one works, something like that. You can forget about all that, because you also have ventilation, fresh air things, which, well, don't do a whole lot, but make a lot of noise. Very realistic, and very nice that A2A made it very realistic, but I don't really care because I don't know how it works. Even if we're talking about heating and cooling in a cockpit, which, well, if you want to simulate that, either turn on the heating in your sim room or open a window if it's cold or something. What I really liked as well was 2 or 3 flights ago I had a bit of a panic about the hydraulic pressure, but it's basically always dropping until it reaches a certain point, and then it gets boosted so that the pump boosts it up. There's an auxiliary pump here, you have a shut-off valve so it doesn't work because the hydraulic pressure is coming from the right hand engine, but it's not a continuous pump. So I saw this dropping, I was like, oh! And then all of a sudden it jumped back up again. So that's a nice quirk because it works as designed, which I didn't know. And again, I couldn't really find it in the manual. Maybe I'm a bad reader, I don't know, but that it was working like that. I had to find out. This is, well, one of the things that stands out on A2A aircraft. You have to find out and give you a little scare, give you a little jump, or just, you know, figure out how it works. And it actually works. You know, this is no flying graphics set, so to speak. So cool. There's a strait over there. You see that little cape. I'm still following the coast. It's good. It's fine. We are 6 minutes and some seconds along the way, so not a whole lot to do yet. What I also dislike a bit, I'm a bit disappointed about the dirt accumulation. Now I can see some stuff here, you know, these little portholes, these little portholes, they have grime going to the back from water and stuff, but I really expected mud here and here because there's no guards on the wheels. Bugs, they are here, they're all around the wings and the engines and the tailplane, but this is the heaviest it'll get, and I even suspect it to get a bit down instead of up, like it's flying off or washing off in rain or something. I don't know, but I do know that I expected more of the dirt buildup. That's basically what I'm saying, and that can be my own expectation. But I saw some pictures in the manual as well with dirt on the bottom from, well, I guess grass strips and stuff. And like I said, the wheels don't have any mud guards, so anything that you run through basically gets splattered back to the fuselage. I don't see that, and the bugs aren't that there. I can tell you, if you in the summer, you fly in the Netherlands in the summer with a white airplane, you fly for 50 hours, that thing is black on everything that's facing the front. That's totally black. If I fly my aircraft, the aircraft that I'm renting in the Netherlands, the main wheels have mud guards, but still some dirt will accumulate under the wings. The front wheel doesn't have a mud guard. That basically paints the whole bottom of the center fuselage in mud if you drive over wet terrain. I fly from Hilversum Airport, Echo Hotel Victor. I want to look that up. That's a grass airfield, and as such, dirt gets there. You don't wear tires down ever, but you get dirt. This is the strait, by the way, and instead of just going in, I'm just picking a point on the horizon where I meet the strait at the end or in the middle. That's fine. Like I said, all VFR. So, if any questions about the A2A Aerostar, about aviation in general, aviation in general aviation, by all means, fire away in the chat. This flight will take us around 1 hour 20 minutes, and then we will be at Gold Coast. What I also like, I don't know if I mentioned already, the speed of this aircraft. 180 plus knots on a GA aircraft is really fast. The one I fly in real life is indicated 90. Some heavy, that's a microlight basically, a TL3000 series. An excellent one can be found, by the way, in this sim, TL 2000 and 3000 by FS Reborn. Very good aircraft as well. I did a lot of the flight testing on the TL 3000, by the way, because I know it. I can dream this little aircraft. Anyway, those are around 90 knots. Most GA aircraft sit around the 100 to 120 knots. 180 is a lot, and that means from a private pilot point of view it's effing expensive on fuel costs, because yeah, that speed that costs something. It's always a trade-off in aviation. But for simming, if you want to cover some distances like this one, from Canada via the Bering Strait, the Aleutians, Kamchatka, Japan, Taiwan, Philippines, Indonesia, and now Australia. That's quite fast. If you do it with a Comanche, I'm guessing you will take 80 hours, something like that. 80, maybe even 100 hours. Well, this aircraft does it in 50. I've been less than 50 hours on the way. 50 is rounded off, so to speak. I see the end of the strait over there, so I'm gonna relay my course a bit to the right to steer on that cape on the other end. Excellent. As you can see, this is very easy on land flying. Even on wind and turbulence, I can't really fault this aircraft. It's very stable. Not on rails, like some aircraft are that are, well, less in the modeling and aerodynamics department. Very cool. Basically flying to the end of this long island. It's not Long Island, but it's a long shaped island. And at the end of that, there's a little cape. That's our turning point to get from the airspace that's existing on this side. There's some airspace here. Could be anything, I don't know. Could be wildlife, could be military, can be whatever. You don't ask, you just don't fly through it. Could fly over it, but I don't know the altitude of it, so this is fine. Sorry for the yawning. I don't know what it is. Must be age. Yeah, and then two VOR radios, an RNAV tool that I haven't really used because I don't know how, and I'm too lazy to read up on it. I should though for the Australia tour, just so I can operate it. And an NDB radio, and that's basically enough. And you know, because this aircraft doesn't have turbine or turbo engines, turbocharged, they're not turbocharged. There is no oxygen on board, so anything you're doing over 9,000 to 10,000 feet is basically suspect. You won't have the power on the engines, you won't have to pull on the blades, and you won't have the oxygen to breathe to actually operate an aircraft, let alone your passengers will survive the ordeal. So you'll be low normally. High for this aircraft is 8,000 to 9,000 feet. And then you can still make the 21 manifold pressure and the 2200 RPM. I like the setting of that. You can hear on the engine that it likes this setting. It flies reasonably economy then, 11.5 to 12 gallons an hour. and the speed is magnificent at that setting. I could go lower, I could to 18, and that means you can go higher, but you won't have as much power as you want. So the power curve is very real when you can use that one. And when you use 21 on manifold pressure, then basically your max altitude is roughly 8 to 9,000 feet, depending on outside air pressure. Any higher and your manifold pressure will go down, because then you'll be full throttle, you won't have a way to control it. Right, we're over our long shaped island. On the other side is airspace. Prohibited airspace, so not going there. I have something going on my VOR, and we are 15 minutes along the way. Now our first cape, which is already waypoint 4, we should be there in 26 minutes. So that's 9 minutes from now. No, 11 minutes, 6, well, 10 minutes from now. Learn to count, man. If we're faster than things, we probably have a tailwind. I can check that a bit, of course. No, we don't. Same as indicated. Even a bit less, so we have a nose wind. Let's see the heading, the course to our station. That's over there. But like I said, we're doing a VFR track, a visual track. Very nice. I was a bit late on the stream because of, well, I'm following quite some stuff from the Winter Olympics. The Dutch, of course, speed skating mostly, and I'm a sucker for ice hockey, having played in my younger years myself. And yesterday we had the females Canada USA, where Canada was ahead until 10 minutes till the final, and in the end the USA got it to 2 versus 2, got into an overtime situation, 3 versus 3 players, and the USA scored, and that's a sudden death or golden goal or whatever your naming is. And well, the USA won. And tonight we had the semi-final, the first semi-final, Canada-Finland. Finland is the reigning Olympic champion. The men 8 minutes before, and Canada's coined a tie, 2 versus 2, and 43 seconds from final they scored the 3 versus 2 on an overhand, on a power play goal, because Finland got a penalty for high sticking. And then suddenly within 8 minutes the whole world changes. Finland is out, will play for bronze tomorrow. Canada is up for the final game for Sunday afternoon. And later tonight we have Slovakia, USA for the other finalization, final spot. So I hope to be on the ground by then. I should be. Okay, we're coming up on our little cape on the other end. That's this bit, and we are quite early then. Now I started my timer, maybe that's it, I started my timer when over the river as a start point and not from takeoff. So that accounts for something, but still 7 minutes is a lot. Doesn't matter, because we can just change it back, calculate it back. Because from here we will follow the coast down to the Sunshine Coast. The Sunshine Coast is is our VOR station, which should be reached in 14 minutes. And it says 17 here, but we're not going straight towards it, so that muddles the reading. Oh, here comes another one. There's no, that's out. That was the NDB of our last station. So, minute 20. I'm gonna count minute 20. There's a small airport over here. What was it called again? Rainbow Beach Airport. Now we're gonna go straight south, or follow the coast a bit and then cut over here from Rainbow Beach. To the Sunshine Coast. Everything in the green, everything running fine. We haven't had a lot of issues basically. We've had some small issues with icing. I was kind of scared of that on the Bering Straits, because this aircraft is basically not licensed or certified to go into icing. Well, good luck crossing the Bering Straits then. Yeah. The only thing that we did have is between, I think, ADAC and Ericsson station over the Bering Strait, was that on one of the left engine, cylinder 1 dropped out. So we had a rough engine, but we had enough power. The engine itself didn't die, and with that shaky engine we were all, well, probably already 80 miles out of ADAC. But I continued on, and oh, we made it obviously. But yeah, that's about it. And some icing issues over Japan, not even over the Straits, or over Alaska, or over Unalaska. No, nothing there. Luckily, because icing of course needs clouds, and we had a lot of, well, clear weather, or at least not enough moisture to make life difficult with cold temperatures. Getting this thing to heat up was a thing though. Degrees. I can pull this to the low standing. Takes off a little noise, just a little. That's what I also like, the noise, the sound sets. Everything has a sound. If it's a ventilation port or a fan, or putting these ventilation ports straight to the outside, everything has a sound. Every switch, every button has a sound, and it's their own sounds. You know, they have their own different sounds. I really like that. You can call it immersion, you can call it being nitpicky on your product, but in the end it shows craftsmanship, and it shows that I, as a sim flyer, I'm taken seriously. Instead of here's a graphics pack that does something that looks and feels like an aircraft, but in the end it really isn't. So yeah, thank you A2A Simulations for this one. Even if I miss all my old birds from P3D, the Twin Bonanza, the Cherokee, the captains of the ship, the Connie and the Stratocruiser, the B-17, the T-6, the Warbirds, like the P-51 and the Spitfire and the P-40, I miss them. But I'm also very happy with this one. Okay, when I'm over the coast, I will steer this baby towards the Sunshine Coast. And like I said, I don't need the VOR on this because we're basically following coastline. So as long as the weather stays good, visibility stays okay, then we're set. For any new viewers, welcome. We are on our final leg of the ferry flight for our VA, Andras Meridian. This aircraft needed a ferry back to its hub. Nobody knows how it got in Alaska and Canada, but it came from here. And I'm flying it back to its hub, all the way from Canada, Whitehorse, Canada, to Gold Coast, Australia, which is the Australian hub for Andras Meridian VA. We're a small VA, and we do lots of flying, mostly on propellers. We have some classes in which you can excel, of course, and we do have tube liners, but our main reason of flying will always be low and with props, and we like it that way. That said, we come from a field done by Aerosoft in, I think, 2013, 2012, Andras field, which was a virtual field just north of the Alps, near Fugen. And we started a flyer club there. You could have a house there, so I had my own house with a hangar there. And from that flying club, the VA was started. So starting out with a couple of GA aircraft on a virtual airfield against the Austrian border, we are now a multi-billion-dollar operation, virtual money of course, okay, multi-billion-dollar operation worldwide, which is kind of cool. All virtual, but very nice to do. And part of that is, of course, keeping our aircraft at our hubs instead of having them scattered all across the world, collecting parking fees. Right. 26 minutes out. Following the coast towards the Sunshine Coast. Sunshine Coast is the actual name of the place. Don't make it up. I was just following this beach here. Very nice. Until the tide comes in, maybe. Then you have nowhere to run. So when we get to Sunshine Coast, we just keep on following the coast until we get to another cape, and then we cross over to a little mountain behind Brisbane, so we're overflying Brisbane. It'll be nice to see a bit of town, so to speak, and focus on a little hill or mountain behind Brisbane to not interfere with Brisbane International Airfield. And from there, what was it again? Just a quick peek. Back to the coast, and from the coast then south again, and then we are at Gold Coast. That's the idea. Back to the coast is not completely east. Let's check that again. Oh yeah, magnetic is 90. Okay. Magnetic is 90. 90 it is. And I'm yapping away and yapping away because I love it. I love flying, I love aviation, I love sim flying. I love everything about this. You can see how smooth this bird goes. I'm doing very small corrections on the yoke, on the rudder, but just to keep it aligned with where I want to go, which is this little bit here, this little, well, let's call it a lake. That's my visual navigational fix. And I'm guessing left of that over here is Sunshine Coast. Maybe I'll make it, maybe I won't. Next hockey weighing is 20 hours, 40 minutes, so 2040. What is that? 10 past half, past 8? 8:40 Dutch time is the next hockey game, semi-finals. Slovakia versus USA, and I so hope Slovakia wins. USA case probably the better team, the best team, because of all the NHL players there. But yeah, rooting for the underdog, and I really like the play style of Slovakia, even if it's built around basically one player. That's a danger, I know, but still. Love it. Coming up on the lake, it's getting more clear now, details coming in. You see the river here and the other lake and the river and the river and another lake. And the town of Gold Coast, I guess. No. The town of Noosaville. Never heard of that one. The town of Noosaville. So Gold Coast is farther ahead, that's something like here. Let's set the arrow towards it, but I know where it is because it's on the coast. Lovely. Love how these engines purr. How you can see that the cone is turning. That's also a thing with graphic setting. The cones of props turning, or even the prop wash, seeing it. You know, the little fake disc. There's a lot of sim devs that don't get that right. That it's too visible. It's not unvisible. In real life it's not unvisible, but it's so delicate, so balanced. You can see it, but only just like in real life. These small things are what you can use for as benchmarks. You know, if a dev knows what he's doing on building stuff like this. 828 got it down. Got it down, you got it. Okay. Gold Coast ahead. 10 miles. Sorry. But we're gonna continue on along the coast. Small villages there, or towns, or vacation villages maybe, who knows, because this is coast. This is coastline. Coastland 101. This is walk to the beach living. Nice. Town called Coolum Beach. Lots of towns here. So this is still isn't Sunshine Beach, this is Coolum Beach. This will be Sunshine Beach then. Pretty beaches. And here's our airport for Sunshine Beach, where of course the VOR is located. We're flying above circuit altitude, so we can overfly the airport. Unless there's airspace here, of course, but I don't know, overflying that over Brisbane, an actual city. I can't remember how that was Japan. No, Manila. The last city that we overflew was Manila in the Philippines. We haven't seen a city since. Towns, villages even. If you are getting finicky because we're overflying it, yeah. And now we've overflown it, so now it's pointing backwards. Not a whole lot going on here. Old runway that's closed now. And here we have the town of Gold Coast. No, Gold Coast, not Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast. Imagine living there. I'm thinking everybody who owns a boat over there. Seems a bit like Miami. On the waterfront, high rises. Still our Cape already. No, not yet. Caloundra. There's a town on that cape, it's Caloundra, but our cape is all the way over here. Where you want to go. A bit high. So I'm gonna go down a bit. Was aiming to be roughly, well, mostly tops 2000. And we get a reading on our VR2. Slowly but surely. Oh, it's gone again. Oh, my externals are still burning. We're still on. Taxi and landing lights. Doesn't really matter, but sure, still. There's our little cape. Where are we going? I love flying like this, I really do. It's like flying, which I do in real life. I don't fly flight sim for tube liners. I have some and I like them. But in the end I always come back to this. Exploring the world, 2000 feet up. Just high enough to see cows, people, cars, you name it. There's a small mount over there, but I don't think that's the one I have to go to. There's one or several over there too. Brisbane should be over there somewhere. From that point on, we should steer 195, something like that. So I'm already setting my heading. So that I know. Bit pre-advanced already, but no worries. it's a bit in advance that I'm doing this. That's the correct wording. Right. Everything is still running as it should. Everything is in the green. Temperatures and pressures. And there went the hydraulic pressure again. Pumped up. The thing that got me startled a couple of flights ago. Then I figured out how it works. It's just a boost pump, not a continuous pump. That's keeping the hydraulic pressure up. So yeah, I really like this aircraft. I really like this as a twin. My previous go-to twin would be the Milvis / Blackbird Sim Cessna 310R. It's also a really nice rendition of a good twin. Which also has some wear and tear and dirt accumulation, and thus giving the aircraft a soul, so to speak. Gives it temperament, gives it a small chance of predicament. I like the Narc Beach as well, the Beach 18, but with the Narc mod. The Beach 18 itself is soulless, so to speak, but it is a very nice ancient twin. And the Narc mod makes it so much better. That's about it. There's not a lot of twins that I do like. Otherwise, normal piston engines, and I don't have the Beach Juke package. I hear good things on it, but I have this, so I don't need it. I don't like the Cessna 414. That's soulless. You know, if I've flown stuff like this and then in the Milvis 310, then the rest becomes a bit stale, boring. Even if nothing happens with engines or oil or electricity or stuff like that, because the chance is there, and because there is wear and tear in it, it adds to the immersion, it adds to the overall experience. Anyway, we are over our cape, and this is a bay. I don't know if it's called Brisbane Bay, but it is a bay, and over there at the end of the bay is Brisbane. So we're gonna go there. And I see that VOR2 is now fully receiving. 27 miles out of Sunshine Coast, but I'm changing it around to number 2 now. We are 70 miles out of our destination, Gold Coast. But we're not going there in a straight line. Again, because of some airspace that we, well, according to the map, cannot cross. And being the good little pilots that we are, cross it. Now what I expect when I get to Brisbane is some kind of a hill that tells me that's where I want to go, because that's my visual reference point. And from there I go back to the coast and then to Gold Coast. So the course that I set up earlier, the 1905, following that now. I would expect to see some kind of a hill or little mountain already. We were passing over the town of Redcliffe. Oh, it's a long way. It's longer than I thought. Underestimating the range on it. Now, being next to Brisbane International is a waypoint for me as well, but just for timing records. I'm not really doing timing now because I know exactly where I am. Normally you do timings on where you are, because then you also know when you are. But that's real life. In the sim I tend to care less, especially if I know where I am. Other stuff about the Aerostar that I like / dislike. I like, well, it's something that the A2A can't help, of course, but I don't like the design. I think the nose is too long, I think the fuselage is too deep, the wings are too stubby. Redcliffe Airport here, by the way. The old saying is, when it looks good it flies good. It looks fast, I'll give it that. But aesthetically I don't think this is a very pretty aircraft. Now A2A have made it very nice, very true to life. So I can't fault A2A for this, I can fault Piper for it, for creating such an abomination. It is what it is. Welcome viewers, I see some new viewers dropping in. We are roughly 60 miles out of our destination, but that will be in a straight line and we're not doing that. We're gonna fly over Brisbane, then turn back to the coast, and from that coast point we go on to Gold Coast, our final destination. We're at 1500 feet and just north of Brisbane. If you have any questions or comments on this flight, or on A2A, or on the A2A simulations, Aerostar, or on general flying on its own, feel free to ask anything. And I will get back to you on voice, and if I don't know the answer, then I will get back to you on chat. After flight, that is. Meanwhile, I do expect to see a little hill or mountain up ahead. But it's not as pronounced as I would have thought or wanted. Outskirts of Brisbane. Somewhere over there is the international airport. If I don't see it, it doesn't really matter for the waypoint because I put one together, but I don't want to interfere on the international airport stuff. There's a ridge here. Is that something I can recognize? Not really. I do know that there's some airspace over here, so I'm gonna go on this side for a bit. Because I've wandered a bit off course. I'm more west than I should be. Let's put it that way. like I said earlier, this is the first city I'm seeing since Manila. There's downtown Brisbane. After Manila, we've just seen small towns, villages, or nothing. Jungle, wetlands, grasslands, mountains. Nothing built up, in any case. There's Brisbane International. Yeah, this is the airfield, so that means I'm in the correct position. I'm keeping this heading a bit, because I know that there's airspace over here. This bridging stuff. So we're gonna cross over the town, the city, downtown Sydney. Sydney, Brisbane. Why am I saying Sydney? This isn't Sydney. And I'll see when I start touring Australia what I'm gonna see, what I'm gonna do. There's a couple of places I want to visit. Make a small, quick screenshot here. But I don't see that hill yet. Should be able to see that now. If I don't, I'll just use the outskirts of town. Nice shot. Nice shot. Very nice, but I'm not seeing any hill, which I would expect from little nav map. Because now is another area of stuff. What was it again, that hill? They even call it a mountain. Spring Mountain. So if I take the course back that I set out, I should come across it, because there's also airspace around here where I'm not at liberty to fly. Nobody stops me, of course, but for realism's sake, let's not do this. This is not it. I think this is it then, but it's, well, it's called Spring Mountain, but ooh, see this cloud sucking me up on what's it called? Thermals. I have to really push down. See the speed? 201 knots. I have really to push down because of this cloud sucking me up. Thermals. When we come free of it, then our vertical speed will drop again. I'm guessing that's it. I wouldn't call it a mountain. By a long shot. But okay, I'm gonna either go there or I'm gonna go back to the coast. I'm gonna go that way. I'm gonna do that. If I can't see where I'm going, then my best bet is to go back to the coast. Bit of a descending turn. The convention center or something. This should be good. See the coast there on the horizon. Didn't find that hill, and maybe this is it, this bit here, but I expected more of it. And mountains are hard to, you know, you can navigate on a mountain if it's high enough and lonely enough, or if there's some indication like 3 in a row, stuff like that. But if it's so indescript and it's basically a bit in clouds, no. Can't deal with that. Our timer says 55 minutes and 42 seconds. We are 41 miles out of Gold Coast, and our ground speed is 184. Time to station 13 minutes. It's a bit weird, considering it's, oh no, of course not, it's over there. 120. Well, then it means I'm basically going straight ahead for it. Almost. Also means that probably this highway is going there. That's what I would expect anyway. Because there's the coast now. Let's keep this course. Right. Well, if I follow this river, then I should come to these, I already see them, these thin slivers of islands in front of the coast. And that's basically my last waypoint before going right towards Gold Coast. So did a bit of a diversion, but it's coming out as planned, so no biggie. This is actually easier because of the river. Trust me when I say this, navigation on water bodies. If you have the choice, always use water bodies. They are seen from miles around, they have shapes, they have colors, they have sizes. It is so easy to navigate on water bodies compared to anything else. Never ever navigate on buildings, even if they're very distinctive. And like we just saw, Spring Mountain was never found. So it wasn't high or pronounced enough, or it was the same green color as the trees surrounding it. That's mostly it. Near the airfield that I fly from, Hilversum, it's Echo Hotel Victor. South of that is the city of Utrecht in the Netherlands. And there's a big cathedral in there, it's called the Dom. Cathedral of Utrecht. And you can't see it when you fly, even in the most amazing weather, because, very simple, you're higher than the tip, than the tower. So you're looking down upon it from every distance. And it's made of brown stone. And this whole bit of town, this whole bit of city is made of brown stone. Because it's the old part of Utrecht, the medieval part. So you can't see it. It's brown stone against brown stone. Even if it's a 300 feet high church tower and cathedral. So any beginner would, I've made that mistake as well, of course, in my education for private pilot's license. Every beginner would use a high building between low buildings as a distinct point for navigation. And in mid-flight they will go, oh nuts, where's that thing, where's that building? It's gone, it doesn't exist. Hockey game starting. It's all good. I'm gonna finish this, then I'll watch the hockey game. Right, this is roughly our my final turn point into Gold Coast. These islands here. And I didn't really set one, I just know these are the islands that I'm talking about. This is amazing stuff though. Same here, if you live here, you're either walking to the beach or owning a boat. Look at this stuff here. The currents here must be crazy though. Because it's all open to the sea, so the tide will do lots of stuff here. Right, turning to the right. The direct course is 155. I'm guessing 155. Is also along the coast towards Gold Coast. I'm thinking the buildings over there is already what you can see. Now we'll be flying straight in. So when we get close enough, we'll start to descend and slow down. It does have an ILS though. I could tune that. I've never tuned an ILS with this thing. 111.1. Never done that. Let's do that. 111.1. And now we already have it. And that is for runway 11. Localizing, no, 139. 139. There we go. You already have it. You can even do the approach on the autopilot. I've never done that. Never needed to. Now if I see that thing ascending, I will. See it yet, but it's still 20 miles away, so that's no biggie. It's 36 kilometers. And even if we can look that far with this weather, it won't mean that we can actually recognize Faf. Oh, these islands are great too. Look at that. It could be artificial, I don't know, but imagine living there. Great stuff. I'm guessing Gold Coast has a lot of high-rise buildings. It's coming into view anyway. Let's get in on the big of the localizer already. Already have it, so why not use it? Also give us a bit of a look over the city. There we go. Now if that needle comes to the middle, then we're on the heading for the runway, and this one is for the I don't need to tell you this, of course. This is for the glide scope. I think I have the airport. Maybe not. For the legacy. Nice. The city center on the island stuff. It's all islands. Like I said, it could be artificial. It looks artificial. I wouldn't know. Connected with bridges and stuff. It's really cool. Really dig it. And I didn't have the airport, but now I do. There we are. And we're on the localizer-ish. I'm gonna slow down a bit already, so pull close to 15, put the mixtures on full. Nine miles. Our projected time was 1 hour 7, and we're cutting it short by, well, I'm guessing 3 minutes and 10 minutes short. Good. Putting this on ground speed. And as we're on the localizer, we're not yet on the glide scope. I'll pull a level. Don't see the airport yet. Can be me, but here, maybe this is it, because I'm left of the runway heading. It's not very distinct, if at all visible yet. 6 miles out. Oh no. There it is, right in front. There it is. And we are getting into glide scope range. So, gear down, externals on, power to the pumps. I don't need ILS because we've got a visual on the runway, but it's nice to have. Flaps 10. Slightly below glide scope, slightly right of the runway, trim it a bit up, there we go. Some more lift, flaps 20. Speed around 100. Nice stuff. Nice approach. Nice town. Again, imagine living here. Walk to the beach. Look at this beach here. Amazing stuff. No wonder it's called the Gold Coast. Oh, I'm too high. Flaps 30. Runway's long enough, I'll keep it at 30. Not full flaps. And a bit high is not that important. It's not that exciting. Right. Our final approach of this long trip. Let's make it a beauty. Flying. There we go. Right. Excellent. Runway vacated. Pumps off. Transponder off. Externals off. Ah. Let's go park somewhere. That looks big. I'll go there. To a parking, but it's a nice place, nice spot it seems to park. Maybe on the left there, next to the King Air. Oh, there's some GA stuff over there. That's good. That's fine. And there's the fuel pump. Don't need that. Not yet anyway. Thumb switch steering. Which I suck at. This seems a good place as any. And here we are, parking brake set. Right, that turns stuff off. Strobes can go off. The cabin fan can go off. I can still hear this one, so this is also off now. Electronics go off. Alternator goes off. Kill 1. On the mixture. Kill 2 on the mixture. Ignition's off. Fuel off. Lights off. Battery off. Aircraft is shut down. And I forgot the flaps. Yeah, did I forget the flaps? I did forget the flaps. Battery on. Yeah. Battery off. We have made it we are at Gold Coast. 9,000 miles, 50 hours. And we're here. Now this ferry flight stuff is over. I will continue the accusim challenge with a slightly maintained aircraft. I will clean it, and I will post this stuff in the thread that I have. I will start a new thread for touring Australia. Touring Australia with the with this aircraft. Yeah, love it. Truly love it. Thanks so much for watching and following this whole well, tour, ferry flight. Yeah, this has been fun, and I can't wait to explore Australia with this thing. And of course I will show that. I won't probably record everything, I won't stream everything, but I will keep a detailed record of my adventures over Australia with this aircraft on the A2A Discord. Again, thank you so much for watching, and see you later.